So here's the result with that strip sewn on, the one I printed with the blue stripes. This is the front, and it goes on the back as well, just following the pattern piece of my Grecian tunic, and it just happens to go up the back in that vertical fashion. And I've added a few more details. These lines here are new, and I've done a bit of down here in this section I did a bit of reverse applique. So as you can see, this is the orange printed fabric behind the applique, and I've cut away the top surface to reveal that orange fabric there. Back to the front. Okay, now it's actually been a couple of days since I completed this piece and sewed it on there, and then when I was reviewing how I felt about the project, I got really stuck because there is something about the way it is that's really really just not working for me. And I don't care to spend a whole lot of time rationalizing why. I just look at it and it just really irritates me constantly. I know it's not working, and I've been resisting it and hoping that I might wake up every day finding it's actually not as bad as I think, but I still can't deal with it. So I have some, when you think a thing is not working, you have quite a few options. One I often take is just to put it aside, start working on another project. Sometimes I might leave a thing for days, even weeks or years. I'm literally reworking some pieces I made 5 years ago at the moment into new things. But my solution here is I'm going to alter it right now, and I'm going to do something pretty radical, which will demonstrate to you that when a thing annoys me, I just often I'm prepared to deal with it in a radical way. Okay, I do not like this neckline. It is totally not working for me. I have been resisting it because I just so much loved that blue hand crocheted lace doily, and I'm really sad to have done this to it, but it's not working. It's going to have to go. So this is what I'm going to do. I am just going to literally cut my problem right out. Okay, so I haven't really thought about this a great deal, acting pretty intuitively as ever. I'm going to cut that away. Okay, now that piece will go away into the massive piles to be recycled at some time in the future. Now I think I've gotten out that thing which I just knew wasn't working. Okay, and my solution is going to be to stitch another piece of fabric in there, and I'm not too sure. I'm thinking maybe this one. I'm going to have to faff around with it for a bit. And another thing that I haven't shown you that I plan to do with this tunic, in my pattern, the Grecian tunic, I have half-length sleeves, and in the earlier version I made of it, Ancestor Country, I made it sleeveless. I didn't put the sleeves in, but I'm going to put sleeves in with this version, and that's one of my sleeves printed, ready to go there. And this is the other sleeve, printed, ready to go. And this side eventually. But I'm not going to put them in at this stage because I'm probably going to add an under petticoat to this garment, and I won't line the sleeves, so I'm not committing to putting the sleeves in probably until the very last. Okay, so this is my radical solution to getting rid of that part of the garment that I didn't like, and I shall return shortly to see if my solution works. Okay, so searching for a resolution to make the neckline of Blue Ziggy work for me, I've gone back to my offcut scrap, the original piece of textile that I printed that the tunic was originally cut from, and I like this part with the greenish minty green print on it, so I've looked at it, held close to the garment, and I think this might work better for me. So I'm using the piece that I cut out as a pattern piece to cut the replacement yoke that I'm going to make for the garment. And I'm cutting around here with allowing about 1 centimetre all around. Then I'm going to take it to the machine and do a bit of embellishment on here, do a bit of stitching, and cut a facing and turn it out, and then we'll put it into the garment and see if I feel good about it then. Here I am with the new yoke to be inserted into the tunic. I've done some couching around the edges of the prints there. I've used this cotton thread to couch it with my sewing machine with a fine zigzag to emphasize the print there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is cut out a facing for this yoke. I use some tear-away stabilizer behind the stitching. The linen that I'm making this garment from is very light. Had I stitched it without stabilizer, it would have caused it to buckle and change shape quite a lot, and I didn't want that to happen. So I'm just tearing out this stabilizer. Okay, well, I'll do that off camera. At the moment, the next step is to cut a facing, because once I've cut the facing for behind here, I'm going to stitch it around the neck edge and turn it right side out, and that will put it in a state suitable to be stitched into the top of the garment. Okay, so to cut out the facing, what I'm going to do is, using some of this scrap offcut, cut around here face to face. Using my blunt scissors again, having lost my, well, misplaced rather, my brand new sharp scissors. In the midst of my mess here, I'm a very chaotic worker. Okay, so once this is cut out, as I said, I'm going to just stitch the curved edge of the neckline there, turn it right side out, and then I'm going to stitch it into the garment.